and I'm chasing. Everybody's worried about me. Too deep. I'm too deep. 2 years of fire burning in my bones. Still believe. Still believe. All those things I didn't say. Working bones out my brain. Breathe when you hear my voice. This is my fight. This is my life. On the ocean, ending big waves into motion, like how a single word can make a heart open. I might only have one match, an explosion. This is my fight song. Take back my soul. Through the moonlight storm. My power shines up. Hello, my lovelies. So I'm just making sure that we are logged on and everyone is here. Hi, Facebook. How you doing? I haven't got Instagram on at the minute because one of my phones has decided to die because, of course, there's gonna be some kind of technological issue. Now, let's just turn off this music. Hey, Jazz. Long time no see, babe. How are you? So I'm going to pause that music because we really don't need to be having that playing the entire time. But welcome, welcome, welcome to day one of Break the Cycle. Now, we are all either single mamas or single dads. We have got fucking no time. So this isn't going to be a really lengthy webinar, seminar, fucking whatever it is that you want to call it, right? It's not going to take forever and a day. Let me just, hold on, do this. I'm going to turn you off there. That's better. Oh, there we go. I got my, so that's two technological issues already. We've just had the live threatened to be banned because I was playing the music, which is why I've stopped it. So welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. Day one of Break the Cycle. So we're going to be here for tonight, tomorrow night, and Friday night. And then we're going to leave the weekend for loads of people to catch up with the replays, revisit some of the tools and the strategies that we're going to be going through over the next couple of days. And then we're going to have a kind of grand finale day on Monday night. And Monday night is where I'm going to tell you all about the prizes, the giveaways, and what kind of goodies that you can be in for winning. Because as much as post-separation abuse is a shitty topic, we are in the trenches, to say the least. This is just my way of picking it up a little bit, making it a little bit more fun and a little bit more energetic, and just bring something good to the entire process, as well as teaching you guys exactly the strategies to get emotionally bulletproof. So hang on 2 seconds because my phone has decided to now play ball with me. So I'm just going to quickly send off live on TikTok. No, don't use TikTok, on Instagram. I'm already live on TikTok. Hi, TikTok. Do you guys like my new light behind me? How cool is that? Absolutely love it. Right, cool. That's Instagram going. Okay, so a warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here. And I just want to acknowledge the fact that if you're here, then I know what you're going through. I know that you are feeling like you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders. And I think it's really important to say that when you're a parent, a single parent, and you have that moment where you become a single parent, you genuinely think, fuck, I don't know how I'm going to do this. How am I going to do this? And I've said this before in so many of my videos. It's not a statement that we're just throwing out there. It's a legitimate question. How the fuck are we going to do this? There's so many people that get in my DMs now and say, I'm literally about to become a single mama. Can I do it? How do I do it? Am I going to be okay? It's so scary. Shall I just stay? Whatever it may be, right? And I'm here to tell you that there is happiness and peace ahead of you. You just can't see it yet. So, this is why I set up the Single Mama Club, because I was that mama, literally having a nervous fucking breakdown. And I'm not exaggerating. I had a full nervous breakdown on the phone to my mum and my brother, just trying to deal with the financial implications, the logisticals. How was I going to work when I was taking care of the children at that point for like 90% of the time? And I remember literally not knowing how I was going to do it. I wasn't just saying, oh, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I was going, I don't know how, this is not possible. This is physically impossible for one person to do all of this. And it doesn't matter if you've got one child, twins like I have, triplets, 3 children. There's a single mama in the Single Mama Club who has 10 children, and she is a single mama. Doesn't matter if you've got children that have additional needs. Each single parent has their own struggles. So, first off, don't be gaslighting yourself just because someone else has more children or children with special needs, or on the outside it may seem like that they get along all right with their ex. It doesn't matter. Your journey and your experience is completely valid as a single parent. And it is overwhelming. It is way too much for one person to bear on their own. And that's why I create the Single Mama Club. Because Katie, when I became single mama, there was no help. There was nothing. All you had to do was just book an appointment with a solicitor, hopefully find one that maybe did an hour free session. Most of them just do 15 minutes, half an hour now, which is understandable. But at the same time, you're never going to get all of the information that you need in that short period of time. Because one, you're not going to absorb it. Two, you're not going to remember anything. And three, you're just going to end up with so many more questions as a result of the information that you've just learned, right? So this is why I set up the Single Mama Club. Loads of free advice and everything exactly where you need it. I've got my podcast, I've got my website, I've got all of my social media channels. There's so much here for you guys to access for free. Okay, because I honestly claim that I am now emotionally bulletproof to all of the shit. Because this isn't just a normal breakup. And don't you now laugh at how devastated you were way before we had children when we broke up with someone? Can you imagine being that person now? You just break up and you go your separate ways. It's absolutely fucking phenomenal. Like, I remember the times when I broke up with someone and I was devastated. And now I think, fuck me, I didn't even have children with that person. Why was I so bothered? Whereas now, you're forever connected to that person. And I don't care how you split up, whether it's drugs, alcohol, gambling, cheating, or just the fact that you've had enough of being a fucking adult man's second mother. Either way, there's going to be resentment. There's going to be disdain. And that, when you then have to communicate, it breeds for a situation where you're just not going to be respected. It's going to get into tit for tat. You're going to end up in text ping pong. It's never going to be a straightforward, respectful process. And then that is the slippery slope that takes us down into post separation abuse. Now, what tends to be kind of the deviating factor is ultimately, are both parents completely child focused? If they are, brilliant. There'll be the odd hiccup. That's normal. We're humans. We disagree. We have differences of opinion. That's fine. But with post separation abuse, it is so much more insidious. There are so many little tweaks and goads and little niggles in the background that really just ultimately paint the picture of that other person just has zero respect and wants to cause an impact to your life negatively in any way, shape, or form. They often believe that they are the puppet master and we are the little puppets on their string. And they need to try and always have insight into our lives. They will talk to co-friends. They'll talk to mutual friends, old co-workers. They'll cyber stalk you because they just can't let it go. And all I need to say to you guys is ultimately, whatever it is that they're doing, you need to do the exact fucking opposite. You'll have heard me talk about this on my social media. You need to be the teacher's pet of co-parenting. That's the way you win, by being 100% court safe, child focused. Don't get into the spats, nothing. And we're going to talk about that throughout Break the Cycle. So let's get into it. Day one, right? This may seem really obvious, but I want you guys to start thinking about the patterns. Okay, think about the time when you got into some kind of pattern. Okay, now you know these people, the ex, you know them better than they know themselves. You know what's going to trigger them. So I want you to think about those times where you ended up in text ping pong, or you were able to predict how they were going to react to something. And I want you to think about that instance. How many times has that happened? We need to start identifying these patterns, because when we recognize them, we're shining a light on the path that we're walking. At the minute, we're just fumbling through, taking the hits, tripping over ourselves, trying to do right, but we can never do right for doing wrong. It's always our fault. There's always something that they want to try and pick apart to use as a stick to beat us with, right? Start acknowledging and recognizing those patterns. And I can see loads of people are in the chat there. I want to say we've got some giveaways and some prizes to do during these 3 days, okay? And I've got some special little prizes to give out for the people who, what's the word I'm thinking of? Who shares the most thoughtful comments in the comment section. Now, you don't have to spam, but start getting involved in the comment section, because this is where you've got a chance to really join hands with other people in the community. Because everyone that you see on this live, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, all of the people that are listening to me, they all share the same experience. Doesn't matter the specifics, because the bottom line is they're all dealing with post-separation abuse. And I tell you one thing, when you realize that it's not just you and you can see that other people are dealing with it as well, no matter in what format, it is honestly so nice to know, because it's so lovely to know that you're not alone. So in these comment sections throughout the next few days, I'm going to be keeping an eye, and I'm going to be writing down, I've got my pen here, I'm going to be writing down the usernames of the people that interact the most and share the most thoughtful insights. And afterwards on the Facebook group, or tagging me on Instagram or TikTok, whatever it may be. I want to see you talking about this. I want to see you being involved, because when you're involved, that sparks so many more neural pathways for you to really absorb this. So you're not just sat there like a lemon listening, okay? When you interact, you learn more and you retain more. So we talked about very quickly about shining a light on the patterns, okay? Imagine you have this really strange illness. You don't know what it is. You go back to the doctor time and time and time again. They're not able to diagnose you. You're really ill with it. It takes months and months and months. You beg them for the pills. You beg them for the medication, for the solution. They just can't give it to you. And then you get to the point where they actually diagnose you. Now, I know this firsthand because I've been through this process. I have Crohn's disease, and I went through 6 months of waiting to be diagnosed. But let me tell you, and I know, give me some reactions or thumbs up in the comments if you have had the same thing where you finally get that diagnosis, and it makes it so much more bearable, because now you've got a name for it. You know what it is. This is the problem. Now I can start focusing on a solution. And that rule applies to post-separation abuse. The thing is, we've got to recognize these patterns, because when we recognize them, we can name them. So that when we start getting into the text ping pong, we can start going, ah, a gaslight, for example. Oh, he's doing Darvo. So if no one knows what Darvo is, put a question mark and I will explain what Darvo is. But when you start recognizing these different methods that they use, honestly, it's like you're viewing it in a third person, and it really does help to kind of put a barrier between you and the toxicity from actually impacting you. Do not underestimate the power in this. Melanie's put a question mark. So Darvo is DARVO, and it's defend, argue, reverse, victim, offender, right? So it means when you go to them with an issue that you're not happy with, and then all of a sudden they manage to flip it so that you're the bad person and that they actually have an issue with you, that's Darvo. So it's defend, because they defend themselves, and they argue back, and then they manage to reverse it so that they're the victim and you're the offender. That's Darvo. It's a classic move. And I tell you what, if you watch things like Love Island, Married at First Sight, all of these big kind of reality shows, you will see Darvo in action. Start to pinpoint it, start to recognize it, because it's honestly a huge part of becoming emotionally bulletproof. When you recognize it, you're like, ah, brilliant. You're able to identify it. And then I'm going to teach you the strategies of how to quash it so it actually doesn't impact you and it doesn't get you down that rabbit hole of the text ping pong. Okay. Sarah and Haley also put a question mark. Well done. Well, there you go. I hope that's explained it to you. Melanie's put, he does that all the time. Well, there you go. Next time that you get into this text ping pong, you'll be able to see and recognize it and know that you're not to feed into it. Okay. It's a distraction technique. It's any way that they can get the onus and the responsibility off them and onto something else. It actually takes away from the point that you're trying to make. And then you end up getting completely bamboozled with whatever it is that they're throwing at you. And then you totally forget and you lose your initial point and nothing gets resolved. Okay. So with that in mind, I want you to start thinking about the different times where you have recognized that pattern. Can you think back to anything in the last month where maybe they've gaslit you? You know, you've gone to them and you've told them. I mean, does everyone know what gaslight means? It is a big buzzword, but it is a very, very valid form of abuse. Definitely recognize this watching those programs and recognize this in my own experience. Thank you, Katie. That's such a good insight, because when you start practicing this, you'll start to see it on telly and it will low level trigger you, but it really does help to arm you and create a bit of armor from being able to be impacted by it. Darvo, it wasn't me. And if it wasn't that bad, it wasn't. Yes, did you see my video of that? This is exactly what my ex is doing every time, every moment that we have a call or a visit. Section 7 include, oh, hold on, what is the Section 7 like? Do they talk to schools? It's very dependent on the, we'll do some more questions towards the end, but it is very dependent on each individual circumstance and the children's age, but generally, yes, they do. Okay, so now that we've talked about recognizing patterns and I've planted that seed in your head, I now want you to start thinking about and get in my comments and tell me about this. But I want to know, when was that moment where you were like, I'm out, fucking done, done with this shit? I want to know, because you'll have tried being nice, you'll have tried being professional, you'll have tried being court safe, you'll have tried begging, you'll have tried getting their sense, like tapping into their sense of empathy, you'll have tried absolutely everything, and they will have shown you that it's pointless. There's no point in it whatsoever, because they will continue to pinpoint things that they find wrong with your parenting. They'll raise things about how you conduct yourself, about your mental state, about your mental health. whatever it may be. There's been, whenever I ask this question, I get so many crazy answers, like DNA test requests when they went through IVF and everything like that. Things that they've said, said like, I wish that I should have swiped left 8 years ago, and then I wouldn't have you and the kids to deal with, things like that. And then that's when that mum was just like, I'm out. No, I'm not trying to communicate with this person anymore. Asked for a few hours during his time to attend a family 70th surprise party. Told no, zero flexibility to the schedule, and she would miss out as my family time should plan around the schedule. Yeah, so he's just like, no, you need to be flexible for me, but I do not need to be flexible for you. Mine kicked off last week. Hi, Danny, one of my subscribers, as I've been visiting my mama in hospital. Oh, how dare you! How dare you leave the children in their care? I was working from home. My kid was sick. Hang on. My kid was sick and her dad was ignoring her cries for help, vaping and playing video games. As she said she needed help, I was done then. Yeah. Cheated while I was pregnant. Ooh, then said I had postnatal depression and I should get help. Ooh. Wow. When it's affected my children, especially my daughter, that she is 8. I got one last abusive WhatsApp and I just had enough after 10 years and I blocked him. Well done. I tell you one thing that's really, really telling is one of my very first strategy calls when I set up the Single Mama Club. So you guys can just book a call and get instant strategy with me. And this woman was like, I've given him everything. I've just tried to keep the peace. Whatever he wanted, whatever he requested, I just gave it to him. She said, and I've been single mama now 10 years. And I've just realized that he's never going to be happy. And I was like, yeah. She said, I've just realized. And she was like, it's 10 fucking, like, she was on Zoom looking at me going, it's 10 fucking years, Katie. And I went, I know, but at least it's not another 10 years. It's better to know than to carry on trying and trying and trying and trying and trying. And of course, she was more bothered about the fact that the time that she'd missed out on her with her children. And that's really my core purpose with the Single Mama Club, because so many of the women that I help, because I don't know if you know, I've got the Single Mama Academy, where you come and get weekly calls with me, legal help, loads of stuff, right? You get my entire emotionally bulletproof framework to work through. It's like a course. And in there, hold on, I'm just going to take a little sip of my water because I've been chatting so much. Little slurpee. Excuse me. But in the Single Mama Academy, they ended up, oh my God, I've lost my train of thought. What was I saying? I was saying the mum with 10 years. Oh, yes, the time scale, because there's so many people in the academy and they have young children, young children, multiple children, and the youngest is like not even a year, or one child that's not even a year yet. And it actually doesn't matter if you do have teenagers, because it's so impactful at every stage. But I think the fact that when they're so little, it's like they're so small for such a short period of time in the grand scheme of things. And we lose that time because we're not present, because we're so stressed about dealing with this. The phone goes off and we're like, oh shit. And then the anxiety goes, and then all of a sudden, like, the world is swirling around us. We can't focus. The children all of a sudden instantly fucking irritate us. And I will be fucked if I let that time get stolen away from me again. And that's why I got emotionally bulletproof. That's why I spent so much of my time trialing this, trialing that, working on my mindset, absorbing this information, that information, you name it, I've fucking done it, right? And that's what I've put into the Single Mama Academy. And just a little word of warning, this is the pre-drinks. By the time we get to the end of day 3, the doors to the Single Mama Academy will be opening, and I'm going to offer you guys a little cheeky, juicy incentive to come in and join us all in the academy so you can carry on getting this ongoing support, because this is never just an open and shut situation. There's always something else. And I know that you guys are probably nodding along with me when I say that, like, yeah, just as soon as you nip one thing in the bud, Then comes the next thing, and you nip that in the bud, and then comes the next thing. So it's kind of a running joke sometimes in the academy because some of the girls will be like, "Oh, guess what it is this week?" And we all have a bit of a laugh about it because you've got to inject that little bit of humor amongst all of the serious shit. But I digress. So we've talked about recognizing the patterns. We've talked a little bit about Darvo and gaslighting. So really start to see, and I tell you what would be a good experience for you is to go into your texts. Oh, thanks, Caroline. One of my Academy members is on the live on Facebook and she's put the Single Mummer Academy is amazing. Thank you, darling. And Caroline's not long been a part of the Single Mummer Academy as well. So you've really still got to get your teeth into the nitty gritty. And next week we've got our legal session. So you get a legal session every month with a legal professional, either Legally Nick, which I'm sure you will all have heard of Legally Nick. She's absolutely beautiful. And then there's Nadia from Raphael Law Solicitors, another single mama. She set up her own soliciting firm. She is a fucking powerhouse. So Legally Nick is great for the child protection, and Nadia is amazing for the divorce, the finances, the house, the everything. Okay. And then we've actually just introduced Elise from the Family Court Navigator. She's got a fantastic page. She is a social worker and she is coming in every month as well to just answer your questions about welfare, because there's some things that the care that your children will get at the other parent's house that you will think is substandard. But the big question is it substandard enough for court to actually acknowledge it? Okay, so these are serious, serious questions that we need answers to, and the academy is where you get all of the answers answered for you. I can't do it all. I'm not legally trained. I'm never going to go that far as to give legal advice, and I'm not a social worker. So I've got 25 years working with children. So when it comes to the physical dealing with your children, which is what we're going to talk about a lot tomorrow, and their emotions and their emotional fallout from all of it, that's my speciality, as well as being a certified transformation coach to really help get you guys from literal broken to thriving, getting you emotionally bulletproof. Oh, Jazz is an ex-academy member, so she's graduated, I suppose we could say. She's put, I agree, it's helped me loads. Oh, that's amazing. So we've identified our patterns of abuse. My God, you could tell. Did anyone see my stories? I'm so frazzled from my being stuck in traffic. I've just driven back from Guildford today and the traffic was minging. It was horrendous. But I digress. So we've recognized our patterns, and I wanted to talk to you guys about the mic drop moment. That moment you were like, I'm done, I'm out. And I want you to keep that moment at the forefront of your mind, because this is why things have to change. Because, like I said, with that woman who booked a strategy call with me, and she realized that she had gone 10 years. I shit you not, girls. She literally had done 10 years of her life. Because if you don't nip it in the bud and you don't put your boundaries in place, this will continue. That's why the academy's there, because it's the ongoing support to get you emotionally bulletproof, and then off you fly to enjoy your happiness and your peace. So think about that. Keep it at the forefront of your mind, because if nothing's going to change if nothing doesn't change. You have to make that choice. Is it difficult? Yes. Is it possible? Absolutely. Is it tedious? Yes. Is it an emotional roller coaster? Yes. But what's the option if you don't? You've got this way or you've got that way. That way, we know exactly what it fucking looks like. Like that woman on my strategy call, 10 years of doing the fucking people pleasing, giving him everything and realizing that it's never actually going to appease him. Or there's dealing with the fallout, putting your boundaries in place, sticking strong to them with all of the strategies I'm going to go through with you over the next 3 days, and fucking making that change and actually relishing it and living it, that you can co-parent with this person. You can exchange the information for the good of your children, but you don't have to let them impact your peace. It's honestly an empowering, fucking life-changing thing that I've done. And not only does it help you with the co-parent, but it will help you with family members that you find toxic, work colleagues that you maybe don't get on with, honestly, everything starts with a mindset shift. And that is what I specialize in. So I promise you, there is happiness and peace ahead of you. And I know that you're not able to see it yet, but you will. And you'll be so much better than you can imagine, because sometimes when you get in that rut, it feels like it's never ending. You literally can't see a way out. It's just such a dark, dark place. But I want you to remember that you have to be in the dark to be able to see the stars. And that might sound a little bit cheesy, but it's so fucking true, in that it may seem dark and like there's nothing out there for you and there's nothing ahead of you, but there fucking is. There's so much ahead of you. And I'm here to help you light up the path every step of the way with you. Like I said before, you've got all of my free help. And then if you want the shortcuts and the fast tracks and the hand holding and the full guidance and the literal, this is what you need to do, that's where you need to be booking a strategy call after Break the Cycle or joining the academy. So let's talk about day 2. We're going to be diving even deeper now that we've acknowledged that we need to be recognizing these patterns and what they're doing. Go back through your texts, have a good look to see, where is Darvo? Where was gaslighting? Where was it? Have a little look to see, where is he trying to change the narrative from a point that, a legitimate welfare point that you might have brought up. And from there, and looking at that a little bit deeper, we're going to then talk about the practical ways to start shifting these patterns and techniques for responding differently. And then we're going to dive straight into setting new boundaries, which is going to be a little bit triggering, because remember, these people have essentially groomed us to not upset them, to always say yes, to always do what they want us to do, to believe that their way is the right way. God forbid we might disagree with them. This is how they want us to be. So the minute we start putting up our boundaries, there's going to be fallout. It's inevitable. But like I said before, it's either dealing with that, and they will learn your boundaries because I've got all of the strategies to help you really enforce them to the point where they are left with no choice but to respect them. And if you don't do that, then you've got the other path, which is just carrying on the way that you are. And I'm guessing no one wants that, because you wouldn't be here if you weren't. Because down that path is peace, happiness, better connection with your children, more emotionally resilient children. Because again, we're going to talk about this tomorrow and on day 3, the impact of the children, because they're the ones that are caught in the crossfire. You know, we can suck it up to a certain extent. We're adults. We can get on with things to a certain point. Not our little babies. They do not have the emotional capacity to be dealing with all of this and the emotional intelligence. So getting them emotionally resilient and embedding so many skills that I talk about in my narc-proof parenting method, that is what we need to be doing. So we're going to be talking more about that in Break the Cycle. So there's a lot of information on these 3 days. So do make sure that you join every single day. And if you can't, the replays are going to start going out from tomorrow morning. And then you'll have the weekend to catch up. And then we're coming back for the grand finale on Monday. So remember, I've got some amazing giveaways. I'm going to give away a free strategy call. I'm going to give away 1 month free in the academy. And I've also got some really cute, I should have been wearing it, but I'm not wearing it. I've got these really sweet mama bracelets that's going to be like the little emblem of the Single Mama Club. So I'm literally going to be posting these out to you. So be sure to be commenting, get in the groups afterwards, post on your socials, tag the Single Mama Club, get your name in front of my eyeballs. That's what I want to see. Sarah cheated when I was pregnant and after. I didn't know. Daughter was 1 when we split. She's 7 now. And it's only since December last year I've learned I needed to stop engaging in the back and forth, defending myself, etc. My daughter, growing older, understanding that his behavior impacting my daughter made me realize enough is enough. I love that. I love that, Sarah. And that was your mic drop moment. That was your realizing that nothing's going to change. And we have to change how we respond. That's when we get emotionally bulletproof. So for now, I'm going to sign off on day 1. Go back and do your homework. Have a look at those patterns. and I will see you for day 2, 8 o'clock, right here tomorrow. Take care. Bye. Bye, Facebook. Bye, Instagram. And bye, TikTok. Thank you so much for joining me.